It's time now for a look at the latest in local news. In the news, the Wayne County Sheriff's Department says that both suspects in that home invasion Thursday have been arrested and are in custody. One of those suspects, a juvenile. More details are expected to be released today by the Sheriff's Department. Incident occurred at a residence on Bruno Circle in Wayne County as the two suspects entered the residence through a window, apparently unaware that the owner of the residence was inside the residence. When the two men opened the bedroom door, the owner was inside waiting with a rifle and opened fire. Two suspects exited through the window and a call to 911 was made. Officers arrived at first, couldn't find any suspects, but a phone was discovered which led them to the first suspect and led to his arrest. When a neighbor reported to detectives that one of the suspects had been hit by gunfire, detectives began calling local hospitals in the area, and a Brunswick hospital reported a subject with gunshot wounds. Deputies were dispatched to the hospital where the second suspect was arrested. Once again, we should have more details tomorrow. Name of the adult subject and charges filed against he and the juvenile. Once again, both are in custody and arrested by the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. We are closing in on 5 months since the first murder of the year took place in Wayne County, as Jerry Davis was shot and killed in his home on Oglethorpe Road. Still no arrest and apparently no suspects, as the Sheriff's Department GBI report is still under investigation. Davis's widow is frustrated and spoke to WTOC in an interview, telling them that someone had to have heard something. Marla Davis says she wants to look the person in the eye, and she wants them to tell her why. Marla Davis says she and her two youngest children were home at the time of the murder in different rooms. She says she found her daughter laying on the floor near the bed where her husband was shot and killed. She says her son came running into the room, saw his dad lying on the floor, and kept yelling, "Is this real? They shot my daddy." Marla says her husband's death makes no sense, that he had no enemies. She calls him her Prince Charming. The couple met while working at Walmart and would have celebrated their 9th anniversary a month after Jerry Davis was shot and killed. Marla Davis says her sole focus is seeking justice for her husband. Once again, both the GBI and the Sheriff's Department say it's still under investigation. And if anyone has any information about the shooting death, they're asked to call the GBI at 912-729-6198 or the Wayne County Sheriff's Department at 427-5970. Jesus's new police chief, Perry Morgan, will be on the job officially 1 week beginning tomorrow. This Wednesday, he's going to join us on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Morgan named the chief last Tuesday by City Manager Mike Deal. Perry Morgan's been with the Jesup PD for over 30 years, now the chief, and again, he will join us this Wednesday on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. First week of the month, that means city and county meetings. We'll come back, look at their agendas right after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Both the Wayne County Commissioners and the Jesup City Commissioners have meetings this week. The Wayne County Commissioners meet this evening at 7 p.m. in Courtroom C. On the agenda under new business, consider and approve a contract for earthwork for a taxiway at the airport. Consider and approve contract for roadway improvements for Holmesville Road. Consider and approve contract with Ware County Board of Health Wellness Program with Wayne County Transit. Consider and approve bids for a dump truck and discussion on EMS coverage. Also, items with the administrator, items with commissioners. Executive session on the agenda this evening for land acquisition and personnel. All that tonight at 7 p.m. Jesup City Commissioners meet tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the Craig Williams Community Center. Under new business, discussion on policies, discussion on developing a community mindset, discussion of ordinance to annex IDA property, discussion of Craig Williams Park with Commissioner Harvey, items with the city manager, items with commissioners, items with the mayor. All that set for tomorrow night at 7 p.m. This past Friday, Governor Brian Kemp signed an executive order that lifts many of Georgia's remaining coronavirus restrictions, rolling back requirements that call for restaurants to practice social distancing and ending safety guidelines designed for gymnasiums, movie theaters, barbershops, and other close contact businesses. 28-page order, which takes effect immediately, also ends a requirement that workers in restaurants have to wear masks, lifts more limits on conventions, and scales back restrictions on live performance events, and it clears the way for sports organizations to more easily hold events. The move is largely symbolic, as the rules were hardly ever enforced, particularly in recent weeks as the economy began to open up with a broader availability of the vaccine. Over 100 million Americans have received both shots, and more than 3.5 million Georgians have received at least one dose. Some doctors still critical, though, of relaxing the restrictions. Dr. Carlos Del Rio, an Emory University infectious disease expert, says it's still too soon. He says we could still have an explosion of new cases like other states have experienced. Del Rio says we're just in the 7th inning. We still haven't won the game. He says Georgia's not the only state rolling back restrictions, however. Texas, Alabama, Arizona, Connecticut, Mississippi, and West Virginia also announced significant rollbacks this past Friday. We'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Couple of final notes in the news. Don't forget, tomorrow is the post-legislative luncheon presented by the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. It's going to take place at 11:30 to 1 p.m. at the Pine Forest Country Club. Again, featured guest speakers will be State Senator Blake Tillery, State Representative Bill Werkheiser, State Representative Steve Meeks, all in town tomorrow for the post-legislative luncheon. Again, tomorrow, Tuesday, May 4th at the Country Club between 11:30 and 1 p.m. And this Thursday is the National Day of Prayer, an event taking place in Odom, Georgia at the Odom Train Depot, 310 East Railroad Street. The light breakfast will be served free and open to the public. Again, that takes place on Thursday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Odom Train Depot. That's going to do it for the latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Again, Wayne County in Sweet 16 action. We'll hear from Coach McDonald. Again, game time today, 4 p.m. And we'll have all that in sports coming up shortly. Bob Morgan saying have a great day.